his life and how he kept the faith through all the turmoil. And many people may or may not know this. Job was not an Israelite. He was an Edomite. You could pick that up in the pseudographica. I'm sorry, Salakim. Actually, in pseudographica, also in the Septuagint, the story of Job keeps going a little longer. He tells his descendants, which goes back to the son, the firstborn of Jacob, Esau. Isaac, Salakim. He was the brother of Jacob, the firstborn of Isaac. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to have a lesson today, which is properly called being self-sufficient. It came down by the elders, and we're going to it, and I was reading it and reviewing it today, and I think it's profound. That needs to be told. So, but before we do that, I just want to give all praise to our Father, Abanawa, the Holy One of Israel, the great I Am, Ahaya, in the name of its only begotten Son, Yeshaya. So we'll start at the commentary, and then please hold all questions towards the end. We'll be repeating the chapter and verse. We're going to be reviewing. We're going to be using the book of course, the Bible, the Apocrypha, and also the testimony of Issachar. Those that have those books, please be ready to use them. Okay, so we're going to start with the commentary. Brother Zamar will be able to start. You could start the commentary.
There are many in the current generation that don't aspire to work hard. This has been a media-driven indoctrination in which we are taught to rely on others to survive, like our governments. This causes an attitude of entitlement and often spoils the type of individual. In the truth, we must learn to overcome such traits and work hard, whether in following the Most High or in our everyday goings. We must take care to not be lazy.
Okay, so we're going to go into that. We're going to go in from the male, what man needs to do, and also what women need to do. So we're going to go into in the Bible, the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6. So please open up your Bible. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6. And when everybody's there, please say Khan.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6.
Yeah. Oh, there. Only a few cons. So a lot. Okay. We all there, Khan?
Khan?
Okay.
All right. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 6. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways, and be wise. Which haveth no guide, overseer, or ruler. Provided her meat in the summer, and gather her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? When wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
So the ant is actually a good example on a civilization that does not have any king or leader. Once the ant is born, they are pre-programmed to basically do what they do. They go in underground, they build a whole big giant cities. You see the different tunnels all over the place. They have a system in how they operate, and this is not taught to them. And there's another evidence. This is what I like to also go to. How does the ant learn behavior? If he doesn't have, there's not a system for him to learn. They are automatically born pre-programmed to know their job. And the ant is a good example in how we're supposed to be, in the sense that, and eventually, we're not supposed to be having any leaders or elders. It's supposed to be, we all know what to do. Mm-hmm. The Most High is our power, and Christ is our King. And that's the way it's supposed to have been in the beginning. That's, remember when they wanted Samuel to become a king. He said, no, I don't want to become your king. Okay, so there's been a lot of things that we need to understand as a people, that eventually this right here, what we do, is going to be less important, or I won't say less important. It's always going to be important, but in other words, we're going to all know what to do. We're going to be like ants, and that's how we have to be. We have to be self-sufficient. We're going to go into that. Just read the commentary, brother.
Every nature shows us that it is important to work hard. Always find something to do constructive, as it will keep you from being idle, where Satan can come in and cause wicked thoughts and actions.
And let me just go back to the ants. If you study ants, when there is a hole, right? There's a road, there's like a tunnel or a ditch. The first ants, what they'll do, they just plow on top of each other to create a road for the rest of the ants. And once everybody crosses, the other ants just basically keep going and do their job. So they're all working together in sync. And it's amazing when you see that, that's how we're supposed to be conducting ourselves, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. We're going to read a lot of Proverbs. Proverbs deals with the books of wisdom. So Proverbs chapter 10, verse 26. When everybody gets there, please say, Khan.
The book of Proverbs chapter 10, verse 26. As vinegar to the teeth, and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him.
See that? So you don't want to be that guy, the lazy guy, the weak link of the bunch, right? Let's go read the commentary, brother.
There is nothing worse than an untrusty and lazy person to do a job. It is like burning to the eyes. Don't be that person who nobody wants to help. For instance, maybe you are to look for a job for something that doesn't want to help you because they know you will misrepresent them based on your poor work ethics. Sometimes people avoid asking someone to do things based on the fact they can't rely on that person to not try to cut corners on a job because of their laziness.
So what the other was saying here, you may have a situation that there may be a job opening in your job, in your company. But this brother, he always comes late, never gets together, and he's like, hey brother, you got a job in mind? You got to open in a job? Yeah, I think there's, I'll get back to you. Because they know that if he gives him a good word to his boss, there's my friend, hire him. And it's funny because sometimes when I've been in that situation and I had a friend or brother or something that he needed a job, I'll go to my boss. I'm like, listen, I need a favor. My brother, my friend, he's a good guy, but he's a little, just try him out, because you never know. You don't want to be like, yeah, he's a good guy. I rely, got my word, and then the brother comes, 3 days late, to the interview.
Absolutely.
It happens. So you don't want to be that guy. So let's go to Proverbs chapter 13, verse 4.
Khan? All right, the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 4. The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat.
So when you ask a brother, hey brother, what you looking for? What you want in life? It should be a thing that like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to go do that. He should have a plan with his life. It should not be a situation, I don't know. I just want to, read the scriptures and chill, see other car in the video, It should be like, oh yeah, I got this, it should be a man, you should be a man in the mood. A man with a plan. Not, I don't know. I want to put the hands in the Most High, Okay? And we're going to go into that, okay? Let's go to Proverbs 20, verse 4.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Therefore shall he beg in harvest.
Okay, so he will not plow because it's cold, but then he will go out there begging. See that? So what's harder? You working for yourself in the cold, or you out there begging in the cold? Right? Let's read the commentary.
If you do nothing, don't expect to have anything. Be ready to work in any season that comes for the following the Most High as well.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes I do marketing, and I got to do out marketing. Got to visit doctors. I see between 10 to 12 doctors a day. And sometimes it's cold. I don't want to get out of my car. I got to do it. You know, I got to see that quota. I got to see those doctors. I got to say hello, because then at the end of the week, I got to make that report, right? So you got to be willing to work in every season. Read the commentary, brother. I'm sorry, Salakim. Let's go to 1 Timothy's. We read the commentary. Let's read the 1 Timothy's, chapter 4, verse 2. Salakim, 2 Timothy's. We're in 2 Timothy's, chapter 4, verse 2. 2 Timothy's in the New Testament. When you're there, please say, Khan. Okay.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 2. Preach the word. Be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all the long suffering and doctrine.
Come on.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Verse 4. And they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables. But watch thou in all things, endure affliction, do the work of the evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry.
Okay. Read the commentary.
So shall we be ready at all times to speak the truth to people, but this same drive must transfer to other work that needs to be done.
Okay. So your whole, that's why when I tell the brothers in the past, when they were seeking to be deacons or wanted to be in that position, or there may be a situation that there may be a certain area that you may have 20-something people, but there's not a leader and things of that nature. And when I speak to a brother who I'm considering to be in that position, the first thing I ask them is their personal life. I don't go into how long you've been in the scriptures, how long you took the academy, what's going on with your personal life. You know, are you stable? What's going on with your relationship? Is that stable? Because you can't minister the house of the Most High if you can't minister your own house. If you have your own house in order. So that's the first thing. Then we could go into learning the script, because once a man is stable and is in the right state of mind, we could teach him scriptures. That could come. You understand? And sometimes you have brothers that know scriptures back and forth, but their life is all over the place. They don't know where gonna, the next meal is gonna come from. They all over the place. So those two things have to be balanced. You understand? For you to do the work of the Most High. Okay, let's go to Proverbs 26, and that's for any man, any woman, in regards whether you are a deacon or not, whatever you want to do the work of the Most High. Okay, you have to make sure your house is in order, your life is in order. You're not in a stressful situation. You understand? But you have to then sometimes dedicate that time to resolve that issue. Then you can focus on the work of the Most High. So let's go to Proverbs 26. Proverbs 26 and 13. Proverbs 26, 13. Say calm when you're there. Okay.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 26, verse 13. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion in the streets. Verse 14. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doeth the slothful upon his bed. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom, and grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit. The seventh man that can render a reason.
Right. So he said, read 13 again.
The slothful man said, there is a lion in the way.
There's a lion. We can't go out today. Oh, right? Hey, I wish I could go out and help you out, but there's a lion right there. Can't go out. A man who's hard work, he's gonna be like, okay, I have to work out how to take this lion out the way. Let me try to maneuver. But those that are lazy will always work, using an excuse. Brother, it was raining today. It was cold. I felt a little warm. I don't know. Is it me? Hey, touch me. Is it me? A little warm. Looking for excuses to stay home, right? Read the commentary.
Those who are lazy look to make excuses as to why they can't do something, even to the point of lying. These same individuals have a distortion of reality where they believe that they are smarter than those who work hard in anything and lie to themselves as a result.
Right, and when it becomes so deep that you start believing your own lie, you start rationalizing why you should not do this, or rationalize why you should not go to that interview, or rationalize that what, you know, it becomes a thing. Oh, you know, they're not going to hire me. You know, they're going to ask me to work on the Sabbath. You know, they're going to ask me to do this. You know, they're going to, you know, let me just work for another job. I mean, I'll stay home. And you know, they will have a whole side of scripture to justify their means. You know, that you start convincing yourself that you're it's a spirit, right? So let's go to Sirach in the Apocrypha. Okay, and it's always profound because, you know, I find out about the lesson that comes in the day before. Sometimes in the Sabbath I'll be laughing. Like I was dealing with this like last week. Because all the Most High. So let's go to the Apocrypha, chapter 29, verse 2. 29, verse 2. Are you there, Khan?
All right. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 29, verse 2. Lend to thy neighbor in the time of his need, and pay thou thy neighbor again in due season. Keep thy word and deal faithfully with him, and thou shalt always find the thing that is necessary for thee.
Like when I was back in the days in the world, right? I was out there, and I had a friend of mine who was one of my best friends. We're still friends today. And he had a business. He had a karate school. It was a pretty successful karate school. And sometimes, you know, I used to go out, party or whatever, and then I would get paid Friday, and then be broke Monday, right? But my friend, you know, he had, you know, at that time he had some money. I mean, he has money now because he does other things. But at that time he was a partner with, you know, doing it with a Taekwondo school. And Monday or Tuesday I'd go, hey brother, listen, let me $20. I'll give it to you back next week. And I remembered that I used to be conscious of paying him back because I knew the day I didn't pay him back, you know, that option is out the door. So it became so funny because, like, he knew the money. Yeah, you know, because I met this girl and, you know, broke. All right, so it was like he always knew, but he knew that I would pay him back. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using that, and of course I was dealing with wickedness, but you got to pay your debts.
Amen.
You know, if you should always be in a situation that if you ask, hey brother, I need $500, that brother should know this brother's going to pay it back. He doesn't have to be like, are you working? Are you know, when are you going to pay me back? You know, always avoiding the brother. Oh yeah, shalom, I got to go. Yeah, that brother owes me $20. So. Pay your debts. You understand? And when you do that, you will always have a lifeline. When you are in a situation you need help, the brother will be like, hey, what you need, brother? Because he knows you're gonna give it. And sometimes when you have that spirit, you know that when people know that about you, when you give it or you're gonna give it back, sometimes the brother will be like, nah, it's cool, bro. You can keep that. You understand? But you always make sure that you give back your debts. That's why it says in Scripture, forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors, because we're supposed to pay our debts. So in the same way, when we are in a situation that somebody owes us debt or we owe somebody debt, remember, we owe a big debt to the Most High. So we always have to be considerate of that, right? So let's read, keep it in Sirach 29 too.
Many, when a thing was lent them, reckon it to be found, and put them to be troubled that helped him.
Read verse 4, Salakim.
Verse 5. Till he have received, he will kiss a man's hand, and for his neighbor's money he will speak submissively. But when he should repay, he will prolong the time, and return words.
Listen, but I get you. Let me put something on top of that. Let me give you here's $20. You know, for the $1,000 I owe you. Let me put something. I'll see you next week. right? But when he needed the money, right, what he did, he kissed his brother's hand. Thank you, brother. I love you. Right? You saved my life. But when you're about to pay that money back, you're like, oh, listen, man. With an attitude, too, with sucking your teeth. Here you go, man. Right? You know there's got to be our people. Because only our people go through this, right? Come on, let's keep reading.
And return words of grief. And
words of grief.
And complain of the time.
Yeah, I'll give you this money, but, I guess I'll walk home because I don't got no cab money. Here's your $20. Right? Come on, let's keep reading.
If he prevail, he shall hardly receive the half, and he will count it as if he had found it. If not, he hath deprived him of his money.
Come on.
He hath gotten him an enemy without cause.
Come on.
He payeth him with cursings and railings.
Come on.
And for honor he will pay him a disgrace.
You see that? So he pays him back, but with an attitude. But what about that time when you was 3 years old? Did you play with my toy? Right? Stop bringing all the things you did. Remember that time? Well, brother, I gave you this money. You said you're going to pay it back. What happened to the hug and kisses and then pay it back as soon as I get a job? What happened to that? Now you got a list for every time you drove me home, the gas you spend, I lent you a sweater 3 winters ago, You start, I'm going to deduct this, right? So pay your debts, okay? And that's a thing that it is cultural, because I was watching this YouTube channel. It's called The House of Commerce. It's basically Nigerian professionals. I think I mentioned this before. And there is, in that society, in Nigerian society, it's very, and Ephraim will probably tell you, it's if you are born, or if you're a man, your job is to surpass your father. And they're very prideful in regards of not being less than their father. It's a disgrace to their family. So stuff like living with somebody else, that's not your home, or borrowing money, that's considered very frowned upon. There's very shame. You shame your family when you're in that position. We have to go back to that. Amen. We have to go back that that when and I know we all broke and we all struggling, that that is something that will bother you. If you get comfortable always depending on others and becoming not compartmentalized, institutionalized, that's the word. You focus on the institution to take care of you. And you get this attitude of entitlement. You got to do for self. And then, yes, it's always going to have society to take care of the less fortunate, because we had that in the Torah. We have that when we go in the field. We don't go back and take. And anybody were allowed to take from your field. So if you walk in somebody else's field, you see like some few apples, you were allowed to take what is in what you could carry with your hand. You were not allowed to get a bucket and take it. But if there was an apple, bananas, you could just grab one or two and take that. So there was a system for the unfortunate in the system, within the Torah and Tanakh, right? But we have to understand that everybody should focus on having their lot, right? Their own self-sufficiency. We have to go back to that. So that's in that, brother?
One more verse.
One more verse, okay.
The Ecclesiasticus chapter 29, verse 7. Many therefore have refused to lend for other men's ill dealings, fearing to be defrauded.
See? So sometimes you want to lend, but you don't know when you're going to get this money back. So sometimes, half the time when I lend money, I calculate what I'm willing to lose. I'm like, this. If I take the $100, if I lose it, because that's the way our people are. You know what I'm saying? It should be a situation that, and I do that deliberately, like for instance with the shirts. Hey brother, here, listen, pay me when you got it. And you got brothers that, and I sometimes even forget. Hey, they're gonna owe you. What is this for? Oh, okay. See, that's an honorable man. I didn't even have to chase him. You understand? He understood. Okay, Elder, no problem. Thank you. I'll see you next week. I don't even have to even chase him or call him. Hey, brother, it's remind you, it's been 6 months. This is boom. That's how man's supposed to be. You know, we're not supposed to be, and even in the feast days, right? It's supposed to be in situations, especially we all chaotic and everything, things of that nature. You know, elder, you know, I'm sure this week I'm going to, you know, pay you on the door. It's not supposed to be. We're looking at the books and, you know, what do you pay or not? You know what you do? You know, try to just walk in and, oh, yeah, what happened? Yeah, I think I'm supposed to pay. I forget. You know, be an honorable man, a man that people could trust, the man that people could leave a wallet in, it's not an issue. Or sisters, you understand what I'm saying? We're supposed to all be honorable men and women, right? Read the commentary.
There is nothing worse than someone who is a freeloader, or someone who borrows something with no real effort to put forth to pay back that which they owe.
Come on.
Sometimes a person's character can hinder a person from receiving help in times of need due to their sluggard actions.
Right. So sometimes, and I noticed that people usually want to help people more than they want to help themselves. When they see you struggling and you're really trying, they want to help you. Hey, brother, listen, I got a job. I know I heard my cousin owns this, and let me help you out. You know, but if you're a slugger, you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes people relent helping you. And it's like, I tell like the young people, if you're living in your parents' house and you get into that 19, 20, 21, those are dangerous times now. Because now you're becoming a man or woman, and then your mother and your father's what? They're looking. What they're doing. Now, if they see you all day playing video games, right? They'll start complaining. But if they see you moving, you got a nighttime job. You got to go to school, or work in the morning, go to school at night, or what have you. They see you. They'll say, like, my boy's a good kid. They will not complain about you because they know you're going places. So they'll say, I'm going to invest on my son or my daughter because I know eventually she's going to, become something, or he will become something. So the same thing, right? So let's read Sirach 29, verse 2. 22, Salakim. It's the same chapter. Jump down to verse 22 in the Apocrypha.
The book of Sirach, chapter 29, verse 22. Better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house.
So you rather live independent on a cottage than being dependent on another man. Sleeping on somebody's couch for like 3 years. You understand? It should be a situation that I remember when I was in a situation that this was about 7 years ago now. I was engaged with a sister. The most I was calling me back to the truth. I wasn't really the most I was like, I don't get married with the sister. You guys are not compatible. She was Jehovah's Witness. I was an Israelite. That was not going to work out. Every time I used to go there, Jehovah's Witness is sign. It's not going to work out. So I got to get out of here. So I was like, before I got baptized, I got to clean my house. So I packed up, went back to my mom's house, right? 3 weeks later, I had a room. I just cannot be dependent on people. It always bothered me. It was a point. I remember when me and Desiree was dating, and I had a job interview, right? And then, but it was in Manhattan, but I was dead broke. And then Desiree was like, you got money to the train? And yeah. Dead broke. I was willing to walk from the Bronx to Manhattan. And what she did was, she was fixing my pants, and she threw in $20 in the back of my pants. Like fixing my pants. So I'm walking, I'm like, oh, I don't know if she did. Yeah. Nice. That's why I married her. That's why I kept her. She's a keeper. Yeah.
Cheaper to keep.
Right? But that was it's my Dominican thing. I mean, we're very prideful now, where we don't ask for help. We don't. That's the thing. It's a cultural thing, right? So, but that's an honorable thing that we're supposed to have that type of character among ourselves, right? So let's keep reading.
Be it little or much, hold thee contented, that thou hear not the reproach of thy house. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house, for where thou art a stranger, thou darest not open thy mouth. Verse 25. Thou shalt entertain and feast, and have no thanks, Moreover, thou shalt not hear bitter words. Verse 26. Come, thou stranger, and furnish a table, and feed me of that thou hast ready. Verse 27. Give place, thou stranger, to an honorable man. My brother cometh to be lodged, and I have need of mine house. Verse 28. These things are grievous to a man of understanding, the upbraiding of house room and reproaching of the lender.
Right. So if you have understanding, you should understand that that's not how a man's supposed to be living. In the sense that he's living from house to house. You know, I'm standing here one day, the next day I'm standing somewhere else. My cousin Lou's, lost me for 3 days. You're living out of your bag and all that. That's supposed to vex your spirit. And if you're in that situation, your mind should only be in a situation that, how can I get out of it? And when you're in that situation, understanding you are a servant to that person. You make sure you keep your clean room. You're not hanging out. You're a servant. What can I to help you here since you're making me lodge here? It should not be a situation that the man leaves from work, your brother, comes back, you're in the same couch that he left you. You understand? So keep reading. Let's go to the commentary.
There are many in the truth still living at home with their parents. They would try to bring the truth to their family, but don't so much as wash dishes without being told. This also can be a hindrance from a person listening to the truth. A person should strive to have their own means to sustain, but when not possible, they should help in the home they are in, so not to look as a hypocrite.
You see that?
Other inhabitants.
In other inhabitants. So therefore, we're supposed to be in a situation that if you are living with your parents, and your parent, Thursday is your day to wash the dishes, but every Thursday your mom is, Billy, dishes. And you're trying to Mom, I'm listening to Elder Rakashia. You know we Israelites? Listen, boy, you better wash these dishes. God. Right? So understand when you're in that situation, okay, before you even bring the truth, it should be you should be washing the dishes for 6 months straight without even telling you, your mom telling you. Matter of fact, do that Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then when you're ready to talk about the Gathering of Christ Church, you're like, okay, well, what is this Gathering of Christ Church? Because I see that so different than you. I see you changing. So if that is what making you change, let me consider it because I see the positivity. Right? Let's go to Sirach 40. I love the book of Proverbs, the book of Sirach. A lot of wisdom in these books, a lot of advice. In the Apocrypha, Sirach 40.
Khan?
28. Khan, when you say there.
The book of Sirach, chapter 40, verse 28. My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg. The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life, for he polluteth himself with others man's meat. But a wise man will well nurture, beware thereof. Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless, but in his belly therefore shall it burn a fire.
So you see that? It's supposed to be a situation that should be the last resort. We got people that's what they do for a living. They go out every week and they make a good living out of it. They make $150 a day just begging. Those dollars add up. That's their life. They got the little room. You understand? And the energy that takes with that. If you're standing for 8 hours, that means you could stand 8 hours doing security. You understand? It's a spirit. And it's because we've been using the fact that we are minorities and this society is against us and as an excuse of having a negative attribute. But we should learn from our history that we always overcome. Every captivity we was in, we always overcame to the point that many of our Israelite brothers and sisters made it to the top. Joseph, he would be considered today, in today's standard, what? The secretary of the president or the vice president? Vice president. Daniel. All these men were considered today the top advisors of the actual prisons of the superpower back then. So we have to, we listen, we are the most gifted, we are the best salesmen. We could rap. we could sell, ice cream to to Eskimo. That's us. We know how to hustle. We know how to make ends meet. So we got to learn how to start bringing that spirit back into the work. And when we become an Israelite, because what happened is that we start seeing these videos with the Illuminati, how's they against it, they're watching us. And we lose that. We lose that thrive to go out and do things and hustle and overcome the system. And talking about overcoming the system this Thursday, okay? I will recommend everybody to come to Nicholas Bookstore because Brother Zamar is going to be doing a presentation on that subject. The brother is very successful. He has several businesses, and he has been a brother that has come from the ground up. So his testimony is going to be a very powerful one. So Nicholas Bookstore is a $7 donation. Come by, say hello. It's going to be a powerful, powerful presentation, okay? So let's continue. And it's all the spirit because it all in sync because I didn't know I was getting this lesson, and it's all in sync. So let's continue.
Living off the whole work of another is not life.
Come on.
Only fools can be comfortable freeloading off someone.
Oh, come on. All right. So let's go to Sirach 25 and 22.
Khan. The book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
Read that again.
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach.
So this is to show you these type of problems were going on back then. If a woman is taking care of a man, she's going to be bitter.
God.
She's going to be upset. Right? Let's read the commentary.
A man must find means to contribute to the family structure. If you lose a job and or a home, pick up a broom or find something else constructive to do. This causes great strains on the family and causes deep-seated anger between spouses.
Right. So you got the sister. She's coming home from a 12-hour shift, tired, the kids all over the place, and the brother's there reading scriptures. On the sandwich next to the same sandwich when she left in the morning, right? That's us, right? And guess what? When I was back in the old school, brother used to be like not working, had like 5 so-called wives, and he just jumped from one apartment to another. And these women just taking care of this man. I'm doing the work of the Lord. No, you're not. You're a freeloader. You're using the scriptures to justify that. You understand? And what used to happen is that these sisters, one sister will say yes because the sister feels, okay, if I say yes, the other sister is going to get upset and leave him, and I got him for myself. And that was the trick that used to go on all the time in the church. You have one brother, he used to have like 3 wives, and after that he only has 1. What happened? Oh, the other 2, they went off. Now, it wasn't they went off. They planned, they didn't work. Because their plan was they could not deal with another woman. But they know the other sister cannot deal with another woman. And they had a policy that you don't have to even tell your first woman you have a wife. Mind your business. And then when the other sister find out, she's like, okay, look, I hope she's... And then the sister who they wants to keep the man be all righteous. Well, I just want to serve my husband. But she's waiting for the others to bust. And a lot of something what used to happen is a lot of sisters used to get pregnant by the brother. No, this will seal the deal. She'll be gone. And it used to work. And it used to ruin families. And you have situations, you have a brother may have 5 wives with 5 different, and 5 kids by 5 different women, and 3 of them are out the truth back in the world. Talking about hell, hell Israel, hell with the Bible. I'm sick of that. So that spirit of freeload could destroy even family. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go to the testimony of Issachar, which is in what you call the pseudographical books. What they call the pseudographical book, but these are the testimony of our forefathers. So let's read the testimony of Sirach chapter 3, verse 1. The testimony of Issachar, not Sirach. We read Sirach. We'll go back to Sirach, but right now we're reading the testimony of Issachar.
This is a testament of Issachar, chapter 3, verse 1. When therefore I grew up, my children, I walked in uprightness of heart, and I became a husbandman for my father and my brethren. And I brought in fruits from the field according to their seasons. And my father blessed me, for he saw that I walked in rectitude before him. And I was not a busybody in my doings, nor envious and malicious against my neighbor.
So Issachar was basically just what was working. Not only did he work for his father, he worked for his brother. So I could imagine that the brothers were like always laying back because they know Issachar would do it. And Issachar was always in the field. That's in the testimony of Issachar, which is the 12 patriarchs. The book called the 12 patriarchs. Chapter 3, verse 1. Okay, chapter 3, verse 1. And he was not a busybody. He was, and that's the spirit of Issachar. Issachar, he's mind his business. He doesn't get in. He's not. You won't see 2-3 Issachars in the corner gossiping about something. Hey, Holmes, you know what I heard? That Susan, they don't do that. That's not their personality. They're very laid back and just working. They just want to work. They just, how to support their family. That's their spirit. So-called Mexicans. Okay. Let's keep reading.
I never slandered anyone.
Come on.
Nor did I censure the life of any man.
Come on.
Walking as I did in singleness.
Come on.
Therefore, when I was 35 years old, I took myself a wife.
Come on.
For my labor wore away my strength, and I was never thought upon pleasure with a woman.
So he went until he was like 35 years old until he got a wife, until he got himself stable. That's why I tell sisters, if you're gonna marry a man, if you're in your 20s, you should not be marrying a man in his 20s. 9 times out of 10, a man in his 20s, that's how you should, or just use your wisdom. Let me finish my thoughts. A man in his 20s doesn't usually get it together. You living with your mom, he's living with his mom. Where you guys going to live together? You going to school, he's going to school. Usually a man that is in his late 20s, early 30s, he's out of school. He's already established. You could move into his house. You could establish. You could have that situation that, okay, you're going to school, he has work, he's paying the bills, and then when you grow up, then you could get your career. You both have that 2 incomes. Now you could eventually hire a maid. You can live successfully. But if the situation is that if there's not a plan and things of that nature, now there may be a situation that you may have a couple that you both going to school, okay, and you're going to get married and work together. That's one thing, okay. You could got yourself a little studio. He works at day, she works at night. He go to school in the morning, she go. This relationship works that way because both of them have a plan and things of that nature. But 9 times out of 10, men in the 20s, when you ask what they want to do, they go, I think I want to be a rapper. I don't know. Let's do into that. I want to be a performer. I'm an artist or something. They're not in. And if you're dating that type of man, if you decide to lay with that man because you love him, understand that's your life. That's when the scripture says when that part of your curse is that your desire will be towards your husband. Okay, let's read that. Let's read that in Genesis. So you got to understand what kind of man you're married to, and that's part of your curse. That's part of your life. What's our curse as a man that we will not be able to provide for ourselves, that we have to plow, we have to work now to provide, and curse will be the ground that we work. So in other words, anything that we do is actually cursed. We have to work extra hard. Right? The black man, Hispanic man, when you go for a job interview, right? You gotta excel your European counterpart to even be considered in the same situation. You gotta work extra hard. First fire, last hire. So we understand that. That's your curse. Deal with it. Doesn't give you an excuse for you to be slumber. Your curse, sister, is to be in a situation that you in that subject, you subject to a man that is cursed and is not able to take care or has to work extra hard to take care of his family. It's the way, hey, you should never, take the fruit. Not my fault. Right? You should rebuke Satan. It would have been good. But no, not our people. All right, so let's read. Let's go to 3, Genesis, right?
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. Upon the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and thy sorrow shall bring forth children.
Okay, so this is not only talking about your physical when you're giving birth to your child. It's talking about that, but it's also I want to increase your grief in raising your children, because back in the days when it was a joyful thing when the mother or the wife discovered she was expecting. Bless. Now it's like, oh Lord, another mouth to feed. How are we gonna? Right? That's the way it is now. Right now we gotta start thinking. All right, I gotta work 3 extra more jobs, and I gotta. Right? Let's keep reading.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband.
And thy desire to be to your husband, read.
And he shall rule over thee.
Now he what?
He shall rule over thee.
So that's the curse. You understand? Read. Now this is the curse for Adam.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. So
in sorrow, so this is talking about him working. He will have to work extra hard, and in sorrow, into the brow of your sweat of your brow will you work, right? Keep reading.
Thorns and also the thistles shall it bring forth unto thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat thy bread. So
back in the days, Adam was not sweating. The animals or the plants, the plants used to grow automatically. He was just walking in the field, grabbing an apple, grabbing a banana. He didn't have to work, and it took care of itself. It worked for him because he was the Lord of the land. He was the landlord. He was his dominion. Everything was created for him first, and the last thing that was created was what? The man, the Lord of the land. He was a God. That was his dominion for everything to serve him. Angels used to come to him and serve him. You understand? But this, we're hard-headed, right? All right. So let's go back. Let's go back to the commentary.
It's the book, this Testament of Issachar. Continuing. But owing to my toil, sleep overcame me, and my fathers always rejoiced in my rectitude, because I offered through the priest of the Most High all first fruits. Then unto my father also, and the Most High increased 10,000 folds his benefits in my hands, and also Jacob. My father knew that the Most High aided my singleness. For on all the poor and oppressed I bestowed the good things of the earth in the singleness of my heart. And now, hearken to me, my children, and walk in the singleness of your heart. For I have seen in it all that is well-pleasing to the Most High. The single-minded man coveteth not gold. He overreacheth not his neighbor. He longeth not after manifold dainties. He delighteth not in the varied apparel. He doeth not desire to live a long life, but only waiteth for the will of the Most High.
Okay, so it's not about living a long life and about the pleasure. It's about not the quantity. It's not the quantity. It's the quality of your life. It's how you live. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you got certain men that they work very hard in their life. They live very, they die very young, in their 50s and 60s because they worked very hard. But what they left behind was a legacy of kids in college doing well for themselves, honorable women, honorable children, and that's what he left behind. That's what he's supposed to do. Not worry about, I can't get a family. That stressed me out. I like to travel and I like to do me. I don't like, That's not your job. Your job is to be fruitful and multiply. Right? That's your job. As take your race going forward. So let's go back. Let's go to that was it, brother. Okay, let's go. Let's read the commentary, and we'll go to Sirach chapter 27, verse 3. But we'll read the commentary first.
Just like today, Issachar works hard and didn't look to the other foolishness which could come through idleness. Issachar was blessed by the father because of his desire to work hard and not become entangled in foolishness.
Okay, so Sirach 27, verse 3.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Most High, his house shall soon be overthrown. As when one sitteth with a sieve, the refuse remaineth, so the filleth of man in his talk.
Okay, so now we're going to read Proverbs back in the Bible. Was all the Bible, but we're in the King James, more than King James.
Commentary.
We're going to read the commentary first, but while we're reading the commentary, you can go to Proverbs 31, verse 10, and let's read the commentary.
It is constant evaluation of ourselves through the scriptures, even when it comes down to questions whether we are sluggards in our everyday lives. When you make it a practice to be a sluggard, it will also translate into how you serve the Most High.
And when you work hard, you sleep better.
Con.
You ever got that good sleep? Because you're so tired. You know, and I'm a night person. It's hard for me to go to sleep. I could be dead tired, and for some reason, I'm suffering. It was that word, examia. Yeah, I'm like, I can't sleep. So sometimes I gotta let me go hit the gym and just burn this thing out, drink some wine, and just knock out. Because but when you get that good sleep, you haven't got the good sleep? Oh, it is the best. Woo! Like he just went quick, but he's like, wow. Yeah, because I'm always thinking. That's my problem. Thinking, brain, like get out of my brain. Let me go to sleep. Get out. And then it's funny, the way I train my mind to go to sleep, because I was like reading articles on when people suffer from that. Always put yourself in a relaxing. Imagine you being in a relaxing situation. So the way that what I envision is me in a big giant cliff, and I'm able to fly, and I just throw myself, and I'm gliding, and I'm really relaxing, and that makes me relax. But I'm thinking about just crazy thing, it's just and especially with this church, because I'm always having meetings about having meetings. So I always gotta call a little car. I gotta have this, but I have a bank account. I gotta take that out of my brain. So I'm like, let me just imagine I'm gliding in the clouds. And you see birds next to me looking at me, we just chilling, and that calms me down. It works, because right, that's what become super Gabar. All right, Proverbs 31, verse 10.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
Okay, now we're going to deal with the sisters. We came down hard on the brothers. Now let's go on the sisters. All right. So Proverbs 31, verse 10. Let's read.
Who can find a virtuous woman?
Come on.
For her price is far above rubies.
Come on.
The heart of her husband dwells safely. Trust in her.
Come on.
So that he shall have no need of spoil.
Come on.
She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Come on.
She seeketh wool and flocks and worketh willingly with her hands.
Come on.
She is like the merchant ship. She bringeth her food from afar. She rises also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her husband, to her household, and a portion to her maidens.
Come on.
She considereth a field and buyeth.
Come on.
With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengthened her arms.
So I will show your sisters back in the day, they were hustling. Mm-hmm. Let me see what I can do with this field with my family. And the husband's running around minding, he's like, babe, what you doing? Hey, I'm taking care of something, That's what the women have to be, always doing something. Babe, what you doing? You do something, I gotta take this and Johnny and this, I gotta take him here. That's how a woman's supposed to be, and that's how most women are. When they are in a loving relationship, you get the best of them. When they're miserable, you get the worst of them, right? All right, so let's keep reading.
She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by the night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff.
Okay, chapter and verse, brother.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 20.
Come on.
She stretcheth out her hands to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy.
Come on.
Verse 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet.
And she goes out in the snow at night. She's not worried about that. She's hustling, right? Come on.
She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple.
Come on.
Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
Oh, that's it becomes that, that's brother so-and-so's. That's the wife of brother so-and-so. It's not the other way around. You know whose wife was that? I mean, her brother, who he's married to? That's sister so-and-so. Yeah. He's lucky, man. I see that sister at night. I saw her last night in the snow, 2 o'clock in the morning, carrying something.
God.
I was like, right? That's how they got to be, right? Let's read it.
She make a fine linen and sell it.
Come on.
And deliver girdles unto the merchant.
As I show you, the sisters also dealing with business as well.
God.
Sisters are very business savvy. They very, and that's the balance. When you have a situation that when they feel secure in a home, that they could really embrace and they could really blossom in their, in their Holy Spirit, right? And their walk. Let's read.
Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come.
Come on.
She opened her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is the law of kindness.
See that? So when she opens her mouth, it's not about gossiping, and it's about peace and love, and then when she walks in a room, she oozes that spirit is there. It's not tension. It's not. You don't have some people when they walk into a room, there's tension just automatically is in the air. It's supposed to be the opposite with the sisters, because they're the comforter. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be relaxing us and making us feel comfort, not stretching us out, and vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? Let's read.
She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness.
Come on.
Her children arises up and called her blessed.
Come on.
Her husband also, and he praises her.
That's my wife. That's my wife. I just want to give her honor to my wife. Give her another award. Our husband's supposed to be that way. It's a righteous woman. I'm lucky to have this woman, right? Come on.
Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all.
Come on.
Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
See, a beauty is vain. Favor is deceitful. Eventually, that's gonna pass. My friend, he used to always have the saying. He said, like, if you're a good-looking woman and you're 30 years after you're 30, if you don't grow a personality, if you're not married yet, there's gonna be a younger sister. So you cannot rely on your beauty. Eventually it's always, and that's what the society promotes: younger, bigger, more beautiful, more voluptuous. So women now need to compete with that, because another younger sister's gonna come up and be like, oh my God, I gotta do that now, Botox. But that's gonna be, and you 50 years old. Sister, come on. Let it go. It's time to, you should be a grandma. Now, grandma's going to club tonight, honey. See, but that's what they promote today, right? Mom, you take care of your grandkids. You ever see your grandkids? Yeah, I'll see them next week. Keep reading.
But a woman that feareth the Most High, she shall be praised.
Come on.
Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
See, so that's what I tell brothers and sisters. It's not about the talk. It's about the walk. We're the first one talking a good game. Praise ye the Lord. Love me some Jesus. But it's not about that. It's about walking the walk. The way, let your reputation precede you. Not what you say. Right? That's it in that?
Yes.
Okay, let's read the commentary.
A sister in the truth, just like the brothers, must be diligent and make sure they're doing their part in the house. In modern society, too many of our sisters have learned to be lazy in the housework, but active in working for the other nations. We must hold to our righteousness, women of the scriptures, as the model of what to do in our homes. The microwave instant food mentality has made for a generation of laziness, and oftentimes that translate into laziness in our diligence to uphold our family and strength. Living virtuously leaves no time for foolishness, but always find time to do those things which build positively. The sisters' contributions to help to keep the house balanced and moving forward together. Okay,
and what's a good example of that? What's that movie and that show in BET, Being Mary Jane? Who's seen that program? That's a good example on when you got sisters, they will hustle and they would go the extra mile for their career, but their personal life is a turmoil. And that shows a good example of when women they achieve their career status, but they don't have a husband, they don't have kids. Now they want kids, so now they're hurrying up trying to fit. And there was one thing I think with one of the friend of the main character. She was actually late for a date because she was like in a meeting. So if this job consumes them, that they cannot even go on a date and they're in a date because they want a husband because they want kids, and now they got like fit that in the schedule. So it was established that way because that's what Satan tricks Eve. He said, "Listen, all that I could give you." So she saw the glamour of it, but she didn't know what she was really giving up. You understand what I'm saying? She was giving up family, husband, because when it's all said and done, it's who you have around you what matters. And you could have a big mansion and all that. If you don't have, family that love you, people that are around you, they're constantly hugging you and giving you affection, they care with you, and they're on your team, and you guys are together with a common cause, it will mean nothing. Eventually it's an empty house. And it's funny because that show deals with that. She had a big house, she's by herself, she's lonely. And she now wants to want a husband and a fan because she sees that and she wants that now. So Satan tricked Eve as well, right? So let's go to Matthew's in the New Testament, chapter 12, verse 25. Matthew's chapter 12, verse 25. Okay.
This is the book of Matthew's, chapter 12, verse 25. And Yeshua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
So every kingdom and every house. That's why you got houses, they're divided. You got 5 brothers, 3 different mothers, 5 different fathers, 7 different, they never grew up together. There's issues that hasn't been resolved for years. Everybody is scattered, and grandma's always crying every year because the family is not united and things of that nature. We're supposed to care about our dynasty. We're supposed to care about our family. And we're not supposed to be divided. We're supposed to care about the reputation of our families. So when you're in a situation that you are married and you're having issue with your spouse, you're supposed to resolve those issues in a way that you're still keeping the dignity of your family. That your dignity of your husband is still intact and the dignity of your wife is still intact. In front of the kids and in front of the congregation. Don't be like, Elder, I got a question. What about your husband, right? I don't want to say anything, but what, he's talking about, Elder, I got a question. What about, I'm just saying, what if but he's talking about his wife, because there's tension there. You should always care about your integrity. And and you can still resolve the issue by keeping everybody's integrity intact within your family. Okay? Protect the honor of your family. Your name, the family of your name should mean something to you. Okay? Let's read the commentary. And we're in the commentary. Let's go to Matthew chapter 24 and 42. Let's read the commentary.
As a body, we must understand this key point as well as members of a household. We must understand those spirits of being sluggards can cause issues in the house and also in the body. Those issues of strife can eat away at the structure and ultimately destroy the person and also those around them.
So when you're in a marriage situation, don't use certain combative words that I learned. And this is a thing that I learned from me and my wife. Every time we got into an argument, we used to words like, I'm out of here, I can't take this anymore, I'm done with this, I'm done. That was always the thing. I always had one foot at the door and one foot in, right? And my wife, when we get into an argument, well, yes, get out, yes, get out. So we never moved forward as a couple, and we were together for a long time, and we were always stagnant because I never felt that was really my home, because every time there's a problem, get out. And every time there was an argument, I was out. You understand? So be careful, and when you get into certain disputes, don't use certain things. Don't say certain things, because it plays psychologically. And because I never felt that was my home, I never invested in it. I didn't care psychologically. You understand? The wall needed paint, whatever. It's not really. But when you believe something is yours, you care about it more. You understand? So now, I'm telling you, I never took out the garbage. Ever. I didn't care. It was a weird thing. But now I know this is my home. This is my wife. I care about things. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to understand the psychological thing that happens when we get into these arguments, that is a dog chasing his own tail. So we have to break the cycle of negativity. You understand? That's why I tell spouses, if you get married, that's your spouse. It's not try it before you buy it. Let's live together for a few years and then get married. No, you're married. So whatever issue comes up, he has a foot too longer than the other. He got a big mole in his back. She snores, You got to work it out. No, I didn't know this. Well, neither did I. What you want me to do? You want to? You gotta. It's always, and understand that there's always going to be something you sacrifice when in marriage. You're never going to get the perfect spouse, like the super spouse. You're never going to get that. We're all broken people, and we all kind of trying to put each other back together. Okay, so understand that, right? Long suffering is part of the gift, the fruit of the Spirit. All right, so let's go to Matthew 24:42.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 42. Watch therefore, for you know not the hour that your Lord doeth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known what. Start over.
Sure.
But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up.
Come on.
Therefore be ye also ready.
Come on.
For in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh, who then is a faithful and wise servant.
And I'll laugh if Christ comes in the middle when you argue with your spouse. I hate you too. What is that? I'm sorry. Just make up if Christ is come. You never know. You always got to be ready for what the time. And I wonder if that's really what it is. Like, we have to be always ready. We could be going off. But as long as we repent on the day that he comes, we make it like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like another secret within the scriptures. And remember when the thief in the cross, and he repented the last day. And he's like, listen, today I tell you, you're going to be in paradise. Right? So it's and another scripture I think in the book of Ezekiel when it talks about that the Most High's way is not just, because that all your righteousness that you've done in the past he would not remember if you do wickedness. So you can say, well, I've been righteous for 20 years, and the day that Christ caught me, I was going off. Think about it. But Shai, listen, I was smoking weed, but look all the work I did. I don't know. He has a key to of heaven and earth, right? Heaven and earth and hell, right? So watch, make sure. So you should live every day like it's your last. Like if Christ catch me today, would I, fail this test? That's how you should be acting. Like Christ is coming every day, so that will keep you on your toes, right? Let's keep reading.
Whom his Lord hath made ruler over thee, over his household, to give them meat in due season.
Come on.
Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods.
So it may be a situation that Christ may reject you that day when you're going off. Or it may be a situation is that, okay, you cannot come into the kingdom. You got to be outside. Remember it says, those that are without are with, dogs and sinners and wicked. You'd be stuck in there. You have to build yourself back up for that one day that you messed up. So you got to watch. So, and this is what we were Elder Ricard and the elders were saying, that a lot of the things that Christ was saying were things that sometimes go over our head, that we have to take it sometimes literally. So when Christ says, watch, for you don't know what day the Lord comes, because if he finds you, being lazy or slumber, okay, he's going to kick you out the house. So we may take that as something that's being, beautiful and nice and encouraging, but that may be literally what Christ was telling you. That if he catches you on the day that he comes back, going off, he's not going to care what you did the last 20, 30 years. He's going to kick you out the house. So let's accept it, as literally rather than just, figuratively speaking. Okay? Let's keep reading.
But if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord, delay his coming.
He ain't coming. I don't see the prophecy, And that's why you got to be very careful, because a lot of the prophecy can be already past and we don't even know it. Like, remember a few years ago when there was a oil spilled in America, and then the water looked like blood. Remember that? And Elder Ricard said, you know what? This is maybe one of the seal opening up. So we may be waiting for that sealed, or the world may be waiting for the seal of the water turning into blood, but it already happened with the oil spill. Because it was like blood. You understand? So we don't know where are we in regards of the seal being opened up, right? Let's keep reading.
And it shall begin to smite his fellow servant, and to eat and drink with the drunken. The Lord of that servant shall come in that day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder.
Come on.
And appoint his portion with the hypocrites.
Come on.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Come on. Okay, let's read the commentary. And while we are reading the commentary, we'll go to Proverbs 19 and 15.
So being a good workman in the household is being compared to how ready and diligent you must be not to be a sluggard in the faith.
Salakia, I meant Romans, right? I think I went the wrong page. Romans 13 and 10. That's where we're going. You can start from the top, the commentary.
Okay. So being a good workman in the household is being compared to how ready and diligent you must be not to be a sluggard in the faith. Why? If you're not diligent in the life responsibilities and are one to the procrastinate, you will do the same in the truth. Christ will reward the good servant who is on point and watching over the Father's affairs in great care when he returns. We must overcome our conditioning so that our spiritual walk does not suffer.
Okay, Romans chapter 13, verse 10. Go on. Okay.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 10. Love work no ill to his neighbor. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore love is the fulfilling of the law. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of our sleep. For now is our salvation near, that when we believe.
All right, so I love this scripture, Romans 13, 11. I always use this during the scripture and during the street preaching. Read that again.
And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of our sleep. But now is our salvation near, that when we believe.
Okay, 12.
The night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of the darkness, and let us put on the armor of the light. Let us walk honestly, as in the day, not rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put on the Lord Yeshua the Christ, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
So this is not a time to be what's that word?
Procrastinator.
Procrastinator. Okay. It's time to do it now. Now, we're in the midnight hour. It's now, right now. Not tomorrow, right now. Read the commentary.
So change that spirit of sluggard so that this translate into helping you to combat the lack of working on certain spiritual battles.
Okay, let's go to Proverbs 19 and 15. And this is the reason why I want us to start acting like ants, in the sense that all the programs and all the initiation that we do as a body and all the ideas gets done by the body. A brother comes with a good idea. Okay, brother, you're in charge of that. We should feel, okay, you're in charge of that. We should do, okay. Right? A few years ago, Sister Shirley said, Elder, we should have a choir. I think we should have sisters singing and we should rehearse. Okay, you're in charge of that, sister. I need a report by tomorrow. All right? So that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, Deacon Kazak and Sister Nicole said, you know, we should feed the homeless. Boom, they put it together. It got done. I was not even involved. It got done. So these are things that are supposed to be done. It should not be, if somebody comes to me with an idea, I need a spreadsheet. I need who's going to be, who you think it should be the best person running it, who should be involved, how we're going to do it. Because that's, you know, everybody comes with a good idea, but they want the elders to start. No, you come in and it's like, I think, Elder, we should do this, we should do that, and this is what I think. We should do this, we should do that way, yada, yada, yada. So there's a lot of work to be done. That's why Christ says, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Okay, so let's go to Proverbs 19, verse 15 in the Holy Bible.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 15. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and idle soul shall suffer hunger.
You see that? Read the commentary.
The hunger is physical, but can also be spiritual if we are idle in our own lives.
Right. So if you're not studying, you're not starting to self-approve. Like, you know, there was one brother, I forgot his name, who it was. He's always to call me, always want to do the work for almost 3 years. And he never took the academy. And every time I talk to him, yeah, brother, yeah, you just take the academy, this and that. Yeah, I'm going to do my phone. I'm going to do it right now. I get off the phone. And he calls me like 6 months later. Elder, how we doing? Just here, this brother, this brother. Oh, yeah, what's going on, brother? That's everything. Yeah, I just want to do the work. I'm doing this. I just want to do that. I just want to know, how should I, go forward? Well, brother, you got to take the academy. And after that, link up with this, things. And this before we had more deacons and things. This was going back 2 years ago. And to the point, I just blew my top with the brother. Listen. This is like the 6th, 7th time I told you what you need to do. So it comes from slothfulness. It comes from laziness. Because the minute I hang up the phone, you know what happens? That's what the devil comes in, start rationalizing. You don't need the academy. You know enough scriptures. But what about, you need to teach next week. Well, don't do it next time. Mm-hmm. That's how the saying works. You understand? So you got to know that it's and I noticed that sometimes people start with fire and they burn themselves out. And they come in, Elder, I've been wanting to talk to you. I want to do that. And then they just burn out. And so you got to understand this is a marathon. And it was just funny because a brother asked me about a year ago, Elder, you've been in the church in the truth for 20 years. How does it feel? Well, you're in the scripture that says that when you eat the scroll and at first was sweet and then it was bitter. Well, I've been in the bitter for 20 years. My first year was sweet. After that, it's been down. It's been a struggle. So it's a marathon. It's not a race. Okay, so let's go to Timothy's chapter 1 Timothy chapter 5:11. Okay, a few more scripture and we'll be done. 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 11. Con.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 11. But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax wanton against Christ, they will marry, having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. And withal they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle but tattlers, also and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not.
So you know when you got a lot of time in your hand, that's when Satan attacks you. If you're too busy to go off. So if you plan on your week that every single day you're doing something, and and it should be universal. It should be spiritual, physical, and mental. It should be that spiritual, physical, and mental. In other words, you should establish your spiritual establishment. Get into the scriptures. Get into your physical, your diet, exercise. So you got to take time to that, and also your mental, your mental issues in regards of any unresolved issues and things of that nature. You need family counseling. You need just regular counseling. Just so all those three things should be in sync and in the right order: spiritual, physical, and mental. Okay. If one of those things is out of whack, okay, it's like a car. Because if your spiritual is not solid, right, you're gonna be going back in the world. Right? If your physical is not on point, right, you're not eating right. That means you're not going to sleep right. That means you're going to be tired. That means you're going to be slothfulness. So you're not going to be able to do the other two. Because you're too lazy or tired to do it because you're eating junk. You can't sleep. You're all over the place. You understand? So you're just drinking coffee, 7 coffees just keep you up during the day, right, just for you to go through the day. So your physical, your temple has to be holy. You got to make sure that's taken care of. That your health, what you eat and what you put in, and also your mental state. Any issue you have resolved with your mother and your father, and you got to resolve that. You got to make that whole. And those three will be able to successfully. And if you take care of the physical and the mental, is to ultimately successfully be able to exceed in the spiritual. So those things have to always be on point. So going back to the sisters. And what the scriptures say here is that, and it says, there's a scripture that says, let the young woman marry. Let us get it. The younger widow marry. Matter of fact, that was in the same chapter. Let me get it real quick. 11? That's it. Salaki. Thank you, sister. That's it. Read that again. 11.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
But the younger widows refuse, for when they have begun to wax whiten against Christ, they will marry.
Okay, so when you go into the history of this, let's start at verse 1. I'm just going to touch on this real quick. Why Paul was putting this.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men and brethren, the elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters, with all purity. So in here we're talking about an elder. It's talking about an elder like myself, and also an elder person. Always respect the older person as he is. The same respect you would give to your father, you would give to an older person. You understand? To someone who's within that age range, right? And then and also as the older woman as a mother, right? Keep reading. Honor widows that are widows indeed, but if any widow have children or nephews, to let them learn first to show piety at home. So he was saying, honor women who are honor widows who are widows indeed. Meaning, he was giving the blueprint what is a widow, and a widow was someone of a certain age. So usually a widow was typecast. The word widow is someone who's lost her husband. But usually when a widow lost her husband, it's because she's been living with her husband and been with her husband for 30, 40 years. So at that time she's of a certain age. But you may have certain widows, they are younger. They lost their husband in their 30. Those women should be remarried. Because if they don't remarried, and this is what Paul was saying here, that there will be too much idle time for them to just be busybodies. So that's what he was talking about. So the older women, once they're a certain age, they don't have to remarry. They should stay, taking care of their children, their nephews, and things of that nature. But he was giving
the counsel that the younger woman should marry. Not to say if there's an older sister and she's a widow and she finds a older man and in her age range and they want to marry and think he's a widow and she's a widow, yes, if the Most High permits, yeah, they could marry. But Paul was giving advice to the church because there was things going on that he had to correct. So sometimes you have to read the spirit what Paul's writing, not necessarily what Paul was writing. So this is the issue that was happening at this particular church that he was addressing. So let's keep reading.
But if any widow have children or nephews, to let them learn first to show piety at home and to quiet their parents, but that is good and acceptable before a higher.
Come on.
Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusteth in a higher, and continueth in supplications and prayers night and day.
Yeah, so the widow's supposed to be, when, let's say you may have a younger couple, he's working, she's working, they're going to school, but they have a kid, and they're like, okay, let's go hire a stranger to raise our kids. Well, we don't hire grandma. So, the widow, that should be their job. So all the nannies and all the, it should be Israelite nannies or us. It should be there should be plenty of work within among ourselves that we don't have to, go outside of our community to have people raise our kids, strangers to raise our kids. We should have that system, and the system was for older women, and you pay the older women. When you go into the history, that's how they supported themselves. Because they took care of their nephews and taught them how to raise them, obey their husbands. I mean their father and their mother and things of that nature. So that was their job, and that's how they supported themselves. That's why it says, but the younger widow refused, meaning if you're a young woman and you're a widow, they should remarry. So it's going to explain that. Let's keep reading.
But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth.
Come on.
And these things give in charge, that they may be blameless. But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house, he have denied the faith, and is worse than an infidel.
So we have to provide for our own. Okay, we have to provide for our own. Let's keep reading.
Verse 9. Let not a widow be taken into the number under 60 years old.
So a widow should be considered when she's in her 60s. So if you're in your 40s, even your 50s, and you're not considered a widow. Around that age, you should not be looking in your 60s. Okay, I gotta go out and find me another man. You lived, you did that part of your life in regards of, you're 65 years old, be out there dating. Well, I like long walks, putting dating sites. Well, what you doing? I'm not saying if you do find a man, most of that you should not marry, but I'm saying that should not be your desire. To do that. It should be, okay, now let me help them take this wisdom that I require, I have now, and pass it to the next generation. Okay, in particular the children. But it says, so let's keep reading.
Having been one wife of one man.
One man, read.
Well reported for the good works. If she has brought up children, if she has lodged strangers, if she has washed the saints' feet.
So these were positioned in the church. So you have older women, they were getting supported by the church. So this was the requirement of a woman who is in that position that is taken care of by the church, and these will be considered the teachers of the children. So this is the qualification of a teacher, if you could understand. Who are teaching the children. And one of it, having the husband, being the wife of one husband, not being the wife of 7 husbands. Mm-hmm. What happened? Well, my first husband, and my second husband, this happened. My third husband, that happened. You understand? So he was giving the requirements of what it took to be in that position. Okay, of being a woman of high stature in the church. Right? Let's read it.
If she has relieved the afflicted.
Come on.
If she has diligently followed her good work.
Come on.
But the younger widows refuse.
The younger women refuse.
But when they have begun to wax wanton against the Christ, they will marry. Okay,
so when it was talking about positions, and this is where the Catholic Church got the nun concept from these scriptures. Because when you were a certain age and you already lived your life, and you pretty much would consider retired. So your husband passed, your kids are outside the house, they're already adults, you're now retired. So now the church was creating employment for the older women. But when they're saying that the older woman, the younger woman refused, don't put them in those positions, because if they're doing the work and then they'll find a man and fall in love with a man, then that was going to hinder the work of the Most High. So now if she's the secretary of so-and-so, and that's her duties or what have you, she's young, but then she falls in love with a man, now she can no longer, I can't call another man's wife, it's sister, well, this is your duty, because now her duty is to her husband. You understand? So that's why in society, just going to a side note, they're increasing the retiring age. Because when you're retired, and especially these like in your 50s, 55, 60, you're still vibrant, you're still young. So now you got income that you're getting, that you're retired, you're getting from, and now you have extra time in your hand to do things. You understand? You're very dangerous to this government when you're in that situation, because you have nobody to answer to, and now you could start building, get involved with different things. That's why most politics and politicians, they target the retired population, because they got time in their hands. If they need a hobby because they're bored at home, and so they pick up a thing. When I used to be involved in politics, that's what they used to teach me. You understand that you have to go and attract certain population. The younger people don't ever vote, so don't even it's like they used to target them, but with the understanding your root cord is your older population. You understand? They have experience, they got skills, and they're able to donate those times. So I'm giving you the same scenario here that Paul was established. He was dealing with administration issues within the church to kind of give us also give us in a light how the first century church was running in that time. You understand? So at that time, by that time, it's the second century. So let's keep reading. So he said the older women refused because read that again.
But the younger widows refused. For when they have begun to wax wanton against Christ, they will marry. See, so once they began to wax strong with Christ, they were married. The against is not against Christ, but for Christ. They were married. Keep reading 12. Having damnation because they have cast off their first faith. Come on. And withal they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers, and also busybodies. So when you don't have nothing to do, you find something to do. It's been proven 1,000 times that most of the young kids, when they get in trouble, it's between that. What mothers should know this, because they should tell you this in school. It's between the hours of 3 and 7. So if you don't, because a lot of kids, what they do is their parents, they get home at 9 o'clock at night. The kids, they open their own, and sometimes you got kids like 12, 13 years old. They got their own key. And their mother, Billy, do your homework. But what Billy do is hanging out with his girlfriend, because there's no supervision. So devil's playground. And idle mind is the devil's playground. That's it. So and it's saying that thing applies to everybody. You should keep yourself busy, plan your week out, but you don't have too much time to get tempted by Satan, because that's his job, by the way. He's always going to try to tempt you. Okay, so let's keep reading. Speaking things which they ought not. Come on. I will therefore that the younger women marry. So the younger woman, I would prefer for them to marry. Read. Bear children. Bear children. Guide the house. Guide the house. Give the none occasions to the adversary to speak reproachfully. So don't let the Satan open. Don't let Satan to come into your life. So this is Paul speaking from administration perspective. You understand? So these are not commandments, but these are good advice and how we should conduct ourselves. And Paul did have the Spirit of the Most High in Christ, right? So let's keep reading. For some are already turned aside after Satan. So see, showing you this was a problem that was going on in church. Some people already went off. That's why we have to be very careful when we read early writings of Christian writings, because we don't know what sect that Christian sect was associated with, because a lot of them broke away from even the apostles that was established from Christ. So the only church fathers are the apostles. That's it. So when you read any document, this is the church father, so and so. No, he's not. Christ and the apostles are the church fathers. That's it.
So wherever you want to know, you go into the scriptures and to understand how to conduct yourself in the church. Buffett, let's keep reading. No, you could go. You read in the scriptures because there's a lot of good wisdom there.
All right. The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5, verse 16. If any man or woman that believeth have widows, let them relieve them, and let them not the church be charged, that it may relieve them that are widows indeed. Let the elders that ruled well be counted worthy of double honor.
So the church was paying the widows. So release the widows that are widows indeed, or only deal with the widows that are really widows. And Paul was giving the clarification. What is a widow? He was giving the age and also the clarification. The wife of one husband. It says 3 scores, which is around 60. Because score means double, 3 means 3, so 30 times 2 is 60, around that age. And and he was giving the clarification. So there was women that were in that position that did not belong there. They didn't qualified. So that's for you to understand. You understand? These were church administration issues that he was addressing. Okay, so let's go back to the commentary. And also let's go to Romans chapter 6, verse 5, and we can read the commentary.
Commentary. Idleness can cause opportunity for Satan to come in and tempt us in committing foolishness.
Okay, so let's read Romans chapter 6, verse 5.
Khan,
when you're there.
The book of Romans chapter 6, verse 5. For if we have been planted together in the likeness of his death, we shall be also in the likeness of his resurrection.
Come on.
Knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin. Verse 7. For he that is dead is freed from sin. Verse 8. Now if we be dead with Christ, we believe that we shall also live with him. Verse 9. Knowing that Christ, being raised from the dead, dieth no more, death hath no more domination over him.
Okay, let's read the commentary.
Often our old self was one of procrastination and sluggard behavior. However, Christ was no sluggard. We ought to follow Christ's example and shun our former selves so that we can live with him in the kingdom. Shalom.
Shalom. Just give the Most High a hand for the lesson coming down from the elders. Okay.